Hello guys, today we are going to talk about methods. Sometimes we have code and we need to reuse this code again and again. So instead of like rewriting the code, so we can have a method. So this method actually it's define the reusable code and organize it and simplify this code. So let's say here, if you still remember last time, we were when we were talking about loop, we were trying to print or like the print welcome to lectures, or when we print the sum of the number from like 0 or from like 1 to 10 or from 1 to 9, okay, which was like 49. So let's say here we need to print numbers from like 1 to 10, and then again from 20 to 37, and from 35 to 49. Okay, basically the normal way we should like write it like that, with using the for loop. Okay, we will like print from 1 to 9 and keep looping. Okay, and each time after iteration we increase the I by 1, and then we increase the sum by the I, and then we print out the sum. Okay, so this is to print the numbers from 1 to 10, and then we need like the same exact code, but we change those values. Instead of like 1 to 10, we put from 20 to 37, and then again from 35 to 49. So basically we're gonna rewrite the same code and we just change the value. So we could create a method and we pass a variable to this method which gonna calculate the sum for us. So we're gonna write the code just one time with the method. So let's say here, this is the way we creating the method. It's a public static integer, because this is the type we're gonna pass integer. So this is a type of integer. It could be double, it could be string, it could be whatever. Okay, but right now we will like using integer. So it's public static integer, and we name it sum. Okay, and we gonna pass two variable over here, int I1 and int I2. Okay, and then we will declare another variable which is results that will be returned over here, and we will do the for loop from I1 to the I2, and increase the I1 by 1, and then we add it to the sum, and then we're gonna return this result. And this is here actually how we gonna call this function from the main method. So this is the main method over here, and we will print some number from 1 to 10. So this is a strange message. It will display like that, and then we call the sum and we pass this two variable 1 and 10. So it goes over here and calculate the sum and return it. So it will return numbers, and here we will use the same function to return a different number. So it depends in which variable we will pass it. So let's again, what's like the method definition. So the method definition actually it's consisted of a method name, parameters, and return value type, and then the body. So right here we have the method name, it's called sum, and we have two parameters over here. We pass two parameters, and the type of the return, we return the type integer, we return here results, and this is the body of the function. So it has the method name and the parameters and the return. Okay, so this is return integer, it's right here, and the body. Okay, this is a type of the function that it return like either integer or like whatever return. It has a return statement. Sometimes we have a method that return nothing. It's like called a void method. So this void method actually it's not going to return anything, but we can execute some code in the body, like print statement or something, and I'll show you that later. Okay, but I want to know how we call what's the method and the definition of this method and how we call this method. I told you we're gonna pass those parameters, okay, right here, and we can call it either by itself or in the statement when we print the statement like that. Okay, and as I told you, if the method return void, so we just gonna have a statement to execute it. Okay, we don't need, it's like here, we will come to, let's say, lectures or Java or something. Let's open up our NetBeans and see how we will create the method. But first, what we want to do, we want to print out, and let's work in the main methods first. We want to print I'm sorry, and what we want to print, we call the methods, so we call it m sum1, and we pass the two parameters 1 and 10. Okay, of course it will give us error because there is not such a method under this name yet. And then we want to print from 20 to from 20 to 30, let's say, like that. And we want to print from 30 to 40, I mean, like, count from print to 40 and print it. Okay, and let's change it. This is like 2, we call another method, and this is like, you know what, let's just say method, and let's see what's. So now we will create a method named m underscore sum1. So as I told you, there is like a 2 type of methods. One return a value, and the other one void method, which not gonna return anything. We have to put, like, statement, execute some code, in this inside the body of the method. So let's talk about the first one first. The first method first, that's return of value. So public static integer, and we call it m sum1. Okay, and we pass 2 parameter type integer. Let's say we pass the first one I1, comma, and another integer is I2. Okay, and then this is the body of the method, and we will return, let's say we return a variable called result over here. So let's declare this variable, let's result, and we initiate the initial value 0. So right here, as you see, everything looks perfect right now. So all the errors right here, it's gone, because now there is a method under this name, and we can pass those parameters 1 and 10, 20 and 30, 30 and 40 each time. So, and when we run the first one, it goes over here, and the I1 will be 1 and the I2 will be 10, and then we need to sum the numbers from 1 to 10. So let's do our for loop right now. So we will have 4, but we need a counter right now. So let's we have integer counter, okay, equal what it will be, the 0, because it's still, and we have, as you remember, I'm sorry, this is the counter that will start with I1, so it will be I1, and then we want to check from like I1 to less than I2. Okay, this is our condition, and each iteration we will have this action that we want to increase the I1 by 1, like that. And then right here we want this result, it will increase by the I1. So the result starts with like 0. So the first time when we run it, the first iteration, it will be 1, and then the second one it will be 1 plus 1 equal 2, and then 2 plus 1 3, and all the way to 10. So we need to, as the example of the while loop and for loop and do while loop. So right here we will do this result, it will be result plus equal I1. It's like that, and let's run it. as you can see here, 45 the same, and then it runs the second one and the third one. So as you can see here, we didn't need to write down again the for loop for the second or the third statements right here. So it's just one time, and we pass those variables so to this method, and then it's run it and give us the results that we want. It depends on which parameter that we pass. Sometimes we pass it like 1 and 10, the second time we pass 20 to 30, and then from 30 to 40. Okay, so this is the way actually when we have a method that return value. Let's say we're gonna use the same, okay, but without returning any value. Instead we will print statement inside this method. Okay, so let's do the same thing, but instead of like printing out, of course we're gonna print out inside. So let's create the second method. So it will be same public static. Instead of like this is type of integer, this is will be a void. Okay, public, okay, void, and we call it m underscore sum2, and also we will pass integer i1. It will be the same integer also i2. But what will be the difference here? The difference is also we have a body, but we don't have a return statement. There is no return statement. So the return statement here, instead we will have a statement to print something. So let's say we will have a statement to print result. Okay, and let's create a variable called result over here, integer result equals 0. Okay, as you can see here, the error gone. And let's say what we want to do here, we want to do the same thing. Okay, so we can copy and paste like that. Okay, and now everything is perfect. So let's have here, we call this method, so we will pass those also three different statements. We will pass it to the second statement, to the second method. So let's say the second method will be m underscore sum2, and we will pass 1, 10. And then the second one we will pass it also like that, but instead of 1 and 10 it will be 20 and 30, and here 30, 40. And let's run this and see. Okay, so as you can see here, it's 45 to 25. So what we need to do is we need to take in we should print in line. So if you see that the different here, we just print it, so it's printed right next to each other. So we should put every statement in a different line. Okay, so print line, as you can see, 45, 2 45, 3 45, again 45, 2 45, 3 45. So this is the way that we call two different the methods in a two different way, either with returning value, okay, or with like void a method that's gonna print a statement. Okay, so this is also one of the two ways that to either to call the method, either invoke it like that in a statement. Okay, also we can pass it to another, let's say another variable. So let's say we have another variable called total over here, equal, okay, and then we will pass sum, m underscore sum 1, and then we pass 1 and 10. Okay, like that. And then instead of like calling this method over here, so we will print this variable, we will print total. Okay, so let's run this and see. As you can see, there is nothing changed. So either you can invoke the method, okay, with the parameters in the print statement, or you can pass it to another variable like that. Okay, so I hope you guys understand it very well. Please practice and see you next lecture. Thank you so much for watching.